Welcome to Q Automation Hub. In this video, we will see what is an array. So, array is nothing but a container object that holds a fixed number of values of a single data type. Say, for example, if you want to store an integer value, how we will give? We will give the data type followed by the variable, and we will assign the value to that variable. So, this will hold only one integer value. And if you want to store a string, in similar way, you have to give the string class object, and you will be assigning the value to this name, right? So this is how we assign till now, and this will hold only one single value in any data types that you are giving, like float, long, anything. But if you want to store a group of values, okay, so then array, it's a concept that you can use to store a group of values of a single data type. Say for example, how you will do, you have to give the same integer data type if you want to store a group of integer values, and you have to give this brackets, and then create an object for it, like say for example number, and create an object for now, okay. And inside this bracket you need to specify the length of the array. Say for example you want to hold 5 integer values, then give it as 5, and this is how you initialize an integer array, okay. Similarly for string, you just need to give string, and this bracket represent that it is an array, okay. Here we don't give that bracket, right? So this represent it is an array, and the value assignation that you need to do it as you required, okay. So names equal to new string, and similarly here if you want to store 10, so this doesn't have any limitations, you can give any number of length inside an array, okay. And this is how you declare an array. So you can do it for other data types also, float, long, whether it can be double value, anything you can assign it using an array, okay. So now we will quickly see an example for a single dimensional array. So I'm creating a simple method here called one dimensional. First we will see what is an one dimensional array, okay. And yeah, so first let us try with integer itself. So I will give this here directly, and you can see now we are assigning 5 values to this number object, okay. And if you create an object and give the length here, right, how you need to give the values to it, so always the index starts from 0, okay. So if you want to store 5 values, then the index starts from 0 and it goes till 4, okay. So the first value I am assigning it as 10, all right, and the second value I'm going to assign it as sorry, number, okay. So you have to give the same object here, okay. And second value I'm giving it as the 20, and third value let us give it as 30, and fourth value we'll give it as 40, okay. And we can go till 5, yeah. Fifth value I'm giving it as 50. Okay, we have assigned the value now for each index, right? Oh, sorry. Here 3 and 4, right? I gave it wrongly. Okay, so we have 5 values now. From 0 it starts, and the index ends at 4, but the value's length is 5. Okay, so this is how it will be, and I will tell you like how the index will be arranged in the array. Okay, so here you can see the index will be in this way. Okay, so if you create a one dimensional array, this is how the array will be arranged. So you will have index starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 based on the length that you are giving it. Okay, so now you have given it as 5, so you will start with, it will always start with 0 and it will go till 4, since you have given the length as 5, and the values that are assigned here will be set to each index. Okay, and here you can see the second point, the length of an array is established when the array is created. After creation, its length is fixed. Okay, so once you set the length during the initialization, it is fixed. Okay, so you cannot remove a value or you cannot add a new value after this one. Okay, whatever you are assigning it here, that only you can use it in array. So that is the second point. And in collections, like array list, hash map, so there you can remove and add values after the initialization also. So that is the main difference between an array and the collections objects, okay. And the third one, each item array is called as an element, and each element is accessed by its numerical index. So here you can see this is the index, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. So for everything, for integer, string, everything, you will have the same kind of index, and the values will get assigned to those index here. Okay, so see here we are accessing through the index only now. Using the object 0, go and set it as 10, 1, go and set it as 20, like that it will get arranged to those index. Okay, so now we will try to access this using a for loop. Okay, so for accessing, just create an variable and initialize as 0. Okay, so I'm just creating a for loop, and the length is 5, right? So just give it as 5 and I plus plus. Okay, so the for loops you will mainly use for iterating these arrays and collection objects only. So now we are trying with an array. Okay, so since we know the length fixed, right? We are giving directly as 5. All right, okay. So now let us try to print that value of uh, one dimensional array is okay. So how do you access it? You have to give the number object which you have created and the indices. Okay, so the index what it is, it's I, right? So just pass here I. So one by one it will iterate, and it is going to display the index each index value. Okay, so now let us call this method in the main method, and we'll run this program. So I'm going to run this class file, and we'll see all this indexes will get looped here. So the iteration will happen, and it is displaying the values one by one. Okay, so here you can see 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50, all values have been displayed properly. Okay, so this is where you will be using the for loops effectively. Okay, and now we have seen with the normal for loop. Let us try to print this using an enhanced for loop also. So how we will do that one? First you need to create an um, variable, right? And you have to assign to this object, correct? And you will be printing the same thing here also. And this is how these are the two ways, and you can use while loops also, but these are the ways that you can use to iterate through an array. So now okay, here it will just get stored here, right? So you have to give the this variable, not number. Okay, so I will explain this one quickly, and we'll put an line here to know the difference. Okay, so I will rerun this one, and you can see now it will run through the normal for loop and also through the enhanced for loop here, and it gives the same outputs, right? So it's simple. The length is 5, right? So you just give it as 5. First the sorry, I value will be 0, and it will come here number of 0. What is that? It will go and check in this index. So it is 10, right? So the value of one dimensional array is 10, and then it goes here, it gets incremented by 1. So now the value of I is 1, right? 1 is less than 5, yes. So it will go here number of 1, and it will go and check here what is the index value, 20. So it is displaying as 20 here, and similarly now it will get incremented by 1, and now the value of I is 2. 2 is less than 5, yes, and it will go and check what is the value of 2, 30, and it is displaying here. So it will go on like that. Okay, and here nothing but you just give this number object here. So when it is looping, right, it will get assign this each indices to this num variable. So this we have seen in our enhanced for loop before, but anyway I'm repeating it. Just it will get this each index value, and it will assign to this variable that we have created. So when it comes here, it will display the value one by one until last beginning to end index. It will iterate, and it will display the value. Okay, but here you need to give it properly. If you give some equal to, right, then what happens? It will check for the fifth index, but we don't have fifth index here, we have only four index. So if you run, you will get an exception here, array bound of index 5 out of bound of length 5. Okay, so you need to give properly, don't give if the index is not available. Okay, give the index properly here. So instead of this 5, you can give it as num dot length, so that will reduce your error also. So if you give it as num dot length, then it will take it as 5 only. Okay, so you have an um, method to call what is the to identify what is the length of this array. Okay, so if you run this one, you can see here the similar output you will be getting it. Okay, so this is a one dimensional array, and now we will see what is a two dimensional array. Okay, as we mentioned at this point, each item in an array is called as an element and that can be accessed using the numerical index. So that's how we are printing it here as well, right? Say for example, if you want to update the value of this fourth index, okay, if I want to update it as 150 or something, that also you can do it. Okay, you cannot add or remove any indexes using this array because that is only part of collection, but here you can change the value or fetch the value using the array indexes, and that is common for everything like single dimensional or multi-dimensional. Okay, so if you run this program now, the fourth index value will get printed as 150 in your output. Okay, so this will get updated because we are updating the index value here. Okay, so we'll see multi-dimensional array. And so in multi-dimensional, you can create n dimensions in array. Okay, so you can create a 2D array, you can create a 3D, 4D, 5D, and you can keep on creating it. It will not restrict. Okay, but here let's see what is a 2D array now. Okay, so a 2D array is nothing but you will have two arrays. Okay, so one is the first one will be row. So how many rows we have? 0 1 2. Okay, so we have three rows here, and column also we have three columns here. Okay, so consider example, you can consider an excel sheet. You will have a row and you will have the columns, right? So that is kind of if you want to take the values of the row and column value, right? Then you can use the two dimensional array. So there it will be really useful. And now let me create a method for two dimensional void two dimensional. Okay, and here similar way like this, how you will assign it, let me tell you. You have to put two brackets here. Okay, same integer data type, and put one is for the first one for is for the row. Okay, and the second bracket is for the column. All right, and now you need to create double dimensional something, an object, and in similar way here also you need to create two things. Okay, so first row how much it is, 3, and the second row length, column length, what is 3. So this is how you can create an two dimensional array. Okay, and now how you will assign the value? In the similar way you have to provide this is 56 is 0 of 0. Okay, so you have to give something like uh, double dim equal to 0 of 0 equal to 56. Okay, and the next one how you will give it, let me copy it, 0 of 1, right? 0 of 1 equal to 78. Okay, so 0th row and first column value is 78, and 0th row second column value should be 96, right? So here you are going to specify it as 0 and 2. All right, and specify the value as 96 here. So similarly I will set for other columns, sorry, other arrays. Okay, so I have created for other indexes also for the two dimensional. So you can see 0 of 0 is 56, 0 of 1 is 78, 0 of 2 is 96, and the second row is 1, right? Here. So 1 of 0 is 84, 1 of 1 is 81, 1 of 2 is 82, sorry 82, and similarly for 2 of 0 is 71. So I have set the index value here. Okay, so now we will create the same for loop, and how we need to access this one? First we will create something like int row or something, and assign the value, initialize the value now, and here also you need to give the uh, index, sorry, length, right? Array length, and just increment it, and since this is the first array index, right? So for that you have to create one for loop, and for the column you have to create another for loop. Okay, so that you can print all this value one by one. So now let me create an for loop for column, and similar way assign it, and give the index of this column. Okay, so what it is? 3. And you have to increment it, right? Oh, sorry. Okay, you need to increment it. And here you need to display the value for it. Alright, so we will give this object here, and we have to print the row and column value both. So just specify the integer variable that you have created for the for loop row and column. And now if you print this one, we'll see the output here. Okay, so it is giving all these values properly, correct? Okay, let us put some print statement here. We'll remove this line and give some space here. Okay, so just to show it properly, I'm giving this one. Okay, and yeah, so now if you run this one, you can see all these values. So this is from the first row, right? 56, 78, 96, and this is from the second row, 84, 81, and this is from the third row. Got it? Okay, so we will do the same thing with an enhanced for loop now. So what you have to do first, you have to iterate the row, right? So just give an single create a variable uh, array. Okay, so for row, and now you have to assign this object here, and this will iterate for through the first array. Okay, and this is a normal thing, right? So you can create an another for loop, enhance for loop to iterate the column, and here you can give it as column and assign the row here. And now we will do the same thing. We will just print it out using the enhanced for loop. And what you have to give it here, you just need to give the column value alone. Okay, so this is an enhanced for loop, so don't want to give through indexes. All right, and we'll print this after this for loop so that we'll get it in a proper format here. So now if I run this one, you can see this is from the normal for loop and this is from the enhanced for loop. Okay, and that's it with two-dimensional array. And now we'll see one important thing. Instead of initializing the variable, see here, if you have only 3 and 3 as length, then it is fine to assign the values like this. Okay, but if you have multiple values, there is an another way to assign the values in an array, so that we will see it now. Okay, so let me remove these things here. Okay, so the other way of assigning, first we need to give one bracket, and inside this one you will be specifying the values of this rows. Okay, inside this you will specify the column values. So what is the column values? 78 and 96. Okay, so this one is for the first zeroth row index. Okay, for this one, and then you have to specify it for the second first row index. What is that? 84, 81, and 82, right? Okay, and this last one is second index is 71 comma 62 comma 61. So each so now you can see here, right? So this one is for the zeroth index, for this index. Okay, and each columns values are given in this one. Okay, and this one is for the first index, and each column values are given inside that, and this is for the second index, and each column values are given. So you can even assign like this instead of going through the index. Okay, like 0 of 0, 0 of 1. Instead of that, you can directly give the value like this. Okay, and all right, so if you try to print this one now, I'll run this program here, and here you can see you will get the output properly similar to before. It displays from the first normal for loop and with the enhanced for loop, right? And even you can do the same thing here. Just go here and change the value. Here it is a single dimensional, so you should not put two brackets. Just give one bracket and assign the index values here: 20, 30, 40, and 50, right? So you can directly assign like this. You can remove this one now. Okay, and let us uncomment this method, and you can see the output of the first method, one dimensional method, also will get displayed now properly. Can you see here? Now the values are taken by the direct assignation, how we are doing it here. And this is okay, this is for the second dimension 2D array method. And now if I'm trying to include some values in this row alone, okay, for the first index row, right, I'm adding two more columns for this one alone. So this is called as an jagged array. Okay, so this they call it as an jagged array. And okay, now what we'll do, if you try to run this program now, right? Let me run this one, and here you can see for the enhanced for loop, that 81 and 72 which we added in the second first row index, right, that got displayed properly. But for the normal for loop, it is not getting displayed properly. The reason why it is, we are setting it as 3. Okay, so don't hardcode this one. You can give it directly like double dim dot length. Okay, so this will take the row, the row index, okay, length, and from here, for each row, what is the column, that you can take it separately. Okay, for that, pass the row index here and then call the length. So now for each row, you will get the column length. Okay, so if you print this one, you can see this value will also get printed in this normal for loop as well. You can see here, right? Now it is working from properly. So this is called a jagged array. The column of each row might differ, so always use the length, call the length and get the length of that row or column. Okay, so that's it with the two-dimensional array, and I guess you guys are clear with this. So now we'll see what is an 3D array. Okay.